I'm a full-time landscape photographer, not a hiking influencer, so I have no sponsorships and don't need to sell you gear to make a living. This video covers my ultralight hiking gear and knowledge from 20,000 miles on the trail. My ultralight hiking gear is full comfort, weighs 10 pounds, and covers down to 20 degrees for all weather scenarios. I'm just going to unpack my pack and we'll go through it one thing at a time. This is the Hyperlight Mountain Gear Unbound 55 pack. I like this for shorter trips. It's extremely light. I don't use a hip belt on it, so it's only 26 ounces without the hip belt. So on the outside of the pack, on this side, I carry this Thermarest sitting pad, and I have a whole gear list PDF you guys can download it that has all this gear, links, and a bunch of tips and recommendations that I've learned over the past 15 years of hiking for what you actually want to look for in gear. So you guys can check that out below the video. So I'll just sit on this. This is what I used to sit on at camp, because oftentimes I'm on hard rock and it just keeps your body temperature up. Next is an aluminum bottle. I just use these Path aluminum bottles. I tested some other aluminum bottles, but they had aluminum screw tops on them and they were really hard to screw. This one is easy to screw and unscrew. This is just 25 ounces. It carries my water for the day. I don't filter water out here. I just drink it straight out of the river. That's your own decision, obviously. But next thing I keep in this side is this chamois. It's just a little swimming towel. It will dry you off extremely fast, and it also dries very quickly. Next thing I have is this back stretchy mesh pocket. That's what I really like about this pack. All my stuff for the day can stay on the outside of the pack, so I'm never opening the top during the day. Everything's easy access on the outside. In here, I just have my food bag. This is a Hyperlight zip top. It just opens like that. I keep all of my food just for the specific day right in here. The rest of my food for the rest of the trip stays in the bottom of the bag. I just want to have easy access food. I also keep my sunglasses in here because it's easy to grab them so they don't fall out somewhere else and get lost if I need those during the day. Just have my titanium spoon and then just my food. I have another full video you guys can check out on food. You guys can also check out my website, and that guide I mentioned has a bunch of different food recommendations. So just keep your food easy access on the outside. I did bring a camp stove for this trip. This is just a titanium camp stove. So it's just a cup, 550 milliliters. That's plenty. That's all you really need. This is a Toaks light cup, very light, less than an ounce. Then I have this little cleaner rag. It's just like a tech wipe. I just use it after dinner in water to wipe it out. You don't need soap or anything else like that. This is a strainer so I can make coffee. I can cold brew coffee overnight. I just dump some coffee in there with water and I put it in here. Or you can do it just like a French press where you just soak the coffee in hot water. Then you just pull this mesh strainer out and throw the coffee away. Bic mini lighter. BRS titanium stove. Extremely small. This weighs less than an ounce. There's no need for a big jet boil stove that weighs like 16, 17 ounces. You just got to select where you want to cook so there's not wind blowing. The only time I would use a jet boil is if I was up in the snow and needed to melt snow for water. That's my cook system. Then I just have the fuel for my cook system. I also use a refillable little nozzle you can put on these. So if you get back from a trip and you have like a half fuel, you can refill it and not have to waste the fuel. So you can just buy the really big fuels and fill them into these small fuels. Next I have this 2-liter water bag. These are Evernew 2-liter water bags. This is for when I get to camp at night. I just fill it up so I don't have to go down to the water all the time. So for this trip I carried 2 liters plus 25 ounces. That's plenty. I could actually carry less, but it's nice to have 2 liters of water at camp. So you just always have access to hydration. This is just a bag with my batteries for my camera that I'm recording on and my GoPro right here. It's got a lens wipe and some extra memory cards and a tool for my tripod. Next, I just have these 33 degree, they're called -33. That's the brand, they're just wool gloves. Wool gloves are fantastic because they'll keep your hands warm even if it's wet out or raining. It's still insulation. So I wear wool all seasons. This is a little dropper. You can just get these eyedroppers or whatever you want to call it, and they're refillable. And if I run into a situation, I always just carry this because it's so small. This is just bleach. I can just put 4 to 5 drops of bleach in 2 liters of water, or 1 to 2 drops in this, and it'll clean it. I don't ever filter or clean the water out here, but if I ran into a scenario where I didn't trust the water source, it's always good to have this because it weighs like 0.25 ounces. So I just leave that in my pack at all times, then you never have to worry about having access to clean water or not. Next thing I keep on the outside on this pocket, these are really big stretch pockets, which I like because you can fit 2 liters of water in them for desert carries. Obviously out here I have access to water all the time. I'm only carrying like a few ounces of water at a time, and then I just camel up with water, meaning I chug until my stomach's full when I stop. This is just a wind shirt. You guys can check out my layering video, I cover all this. It's the same as these wind pants. They pack down to nothing. This is like 2 ounces, but they'll give you wind protection. So if you wear Gore-Tex or something like that and you're out in the rain, eventually it'll wet through on like day 1 of your trip if it's really raining, and then it's really heavy and it just sticks to your skin. These give you wind protection and warmth, so they're still gonna wet through like anything else when it's raining, but they'll keep your body temperature up if you layer them right. But check out my layering video. You can just go into Google or go into YouTube and type in Dave Morrow layering system. All right, so now let's go into the bag. I love this bag because it's just like one big long stuff sack. There's only one compartment on the inside. The less pockets you can have on the inside of your pack, the better, because you won't lose stuff. When I'm packing this pack, everything goes in the exact same outside pockets every single day. And on this same side is where I keep my camera on the outside of the pack. All right, so let's go through the inside of the pack. At the top of the pack, I have another roll top stuff sack. This is just labeled gear. I never get into this during the day, but if I needed to, it would be at the very top of the pack. So this just has all my small essential items that I take with me. Number 1 are bread bags. You can use bread bags around camp over dry socks between your wet shoes. Check out my layering guide. It's really nice to have bread bags if your feet are getting wet during the day, because you can wear your shoes around at camp at night and your dry camp socks do not get wet. Tent stakes, just the MSR regular size tent stakes. The small ones don't hold very well. If you want to hold something really taut like a tarp or a tent down in a storm, get the regular size ones. The small ones are fine if you're doing something where you know there's not going to be any weather. They're about 2 ounces lighter for a whole set. Sea to Summit camp pillow. This is the regular size. I used to have the small size. Not very comfortable. It wasn't big enough. This is 2 ounces. It'll make your sleep way better. First aid kit. So I'm a wilderness first responder. It's a 10-day training course. Great to have if you're going to do a lot of backpacking. And you want to build out your own first aid kit. This is just my very minimal first aid kit that I use, and I am very happy with it. I feel like I could have a few more things, but the things that I would add, like a tourniquet or some other big bleed items, it's a trade-off, right? Because they're going to be way heavier. This is 7 ounces for my entire first aid kit, so it's not extremely minimal, but it's not a massive first aid kit either. So it's always trade-offs with everything you're going to take out here. This is a 10,000 mAh battery brick. That's just to recharge my camera, to recharge my phone, and to recharge my GoPro, which is right here. I'll talk about it later. So this will last me for 3 to 4 days. This is a 4-day trip, so this will last me. Then I have all my cords, chargers. And this is just headphones. This is that Govee thermometer. You can just hang it wherever. I'll hang it right here. And then you can really dial in your layers, because you can see what layers you have on at night, and you can check the minimum temperature, and you can be like, okay, well, did I max out my layering system? Did I need to bring more? Do I need to bring less? And over time, you can really dial it in. Then a few other charging items. USB-C. It's nice to have the really small ones. They'll save you a little bit of weight, like ½ an ounce on each. They're also way easier to pack, so the short cables are great. iPhone cable. That's all I got there. For my electronics, wool hat. I like wool everything. Merino wool's fantastic. These are lightweight wool tights. These are 165 weight, meaning the lightest weight you can get. So they're almost see-through, but they add a lot of warmth this time of season. So they're very light. I think these are 4.5 ounces. So they give you a lot of warmth for their weight. I don't really ever need to bring anything more than this unless it gets really cold. Darn tough wool socks. These are just really lightweight wool socks that I wear around camp. They're always going to be clean every night, so I'll clean my feet off, wash off in the river, put these on, put the bread bags over top of them, and then put my shoes on, and then my shoes don't get my camp socks wet. These are Boar's bristle toothbrushes, so they don't get plastic in your mouth, and they're bamboo, so they're really light. These are like 0.25 ounces. For toothpaste, I just use one of these screw top lids. You can just keep the amount of toothpaste just for your trip. This whole thing carries about 10 days of toothpaste, So I'll only fill a few squirts in there if I'm going on a 4-day trip like this. Earplugs. Earplugs always stay in my kit if it's windy out, if you're near a river. I just wear them every single night. You'll just sleep way better because there's not all these noises coming in to your subconscious that you have to pay attention for. This is the Night Core headlamp. This weighs 1 ounce. It's extremely light. It's bright enough. It's not going to be as bright as your brightest headlamps. It's got a USB-C charger. There's no batteries that you can swip in and out. Only USB-C. And it's glow in the dark here, which is really nice. So this is 1 ounce, extremely nice. Mouth tape. I tape my mouth shut every night at home and on the trail. This is just athletic tape. Put it right over your mouth. It makes you breathe through your nose. You'll sleep way better. You can look it up online. I've been doing it for a few years. It changed my life as far as sleeping. And then just some regular floss. So that's all that stuff. Next thing I pack in my stack. I'm always packing this stuff in the exact same place every time. This is the Thermarest Neo Air, and this is the X Therm pad. It's for a lot cooler temperatures. So this pad weighs, I think, 20 ounces. I get the wide ones, 25 inches wide, much better sleep. And for my height, I don't need the long, I just get the regular. So this is the regular wide. And this is a way warmer R value. I think this is a 7 or 8 R value, whereas the X Lite, the one I use in the summer, is like a 5 R value. A little bit of extra weight will add way more warmth to your sleep system, so you don't need extra layers, like you can wear these really thin tights and stuff like that. So I still carry this winter sleeping pad until it gets to be around 35 degrees out, then I'll switch to the X Lite. This is my QU fleece. This is an extremely lightweight fleece. It's like 6 ounces, packs down very small, it packs a lot of warmth to it. Fleece is a great mid-layer, so I'll wear my hiking shirt, which is wool. I'll wear that to bed at night, because it usually gets dry by the time I'm at camp. Then I'll put the fleece over it. And if this is completely soaked from hiking in the rain, I'll just wear the fleece as my base layer. Bathroom kit. Hand sanitizer, small shovel. The shovel that I use is called, what are these things called? The Ace of Spades. They're like 1 ounce. They're really good shovels for going to the bathroom. And then toilet paper and hand sanitizer. I just keep that in a Ziploc, and then your dirty toilet paper, I keep in another Ziploc inside of it. This is the ground sheet, polycro. This just goes on the ground underneath my tarp. The entire tarp system here, which we'll take a look at in a minute, this weighs 1.5 ounces. This tarp weighs 7 ounces, so like 9 ounces for a complete covered sleep system. It's not going to rain tonight, so I don't have this folded down, so it gives me a nice view out of the tarp. Next, inside my backpack, I use a big trash compactor bag, like a pack liner. It weighs about 1.5 ounces. It is 2 mil thick plastic, not a regular trash bag, but thicker trash compactor bag. That keeps all of my down layers dry inside the pack. Even if it's not going to rain, I use this because I might be fording rivers, I might be sweating really hard. For this trip, I brought my Western Mountaineering down pants. These are fantastic if it's going to be pretty cold out. You can wear these around camp at night. This was probably more of a luxury item on this trip because it was a short hike. These are 8 ounces, so I didn't mind bringing them, but I could have cut them out for this trip. If it's going to be in the 20s, I'm definitely bringing them. But it was down like 27 in the morning, and I was out taking photos in the morning, so having this made it a lot easier to get up and start shooting. Feathered Friends EOS down jacket. This is like a mid-weight down jacket. It's about 11 ounces. Feathered Friends makes fantastic down jackets. This is my second one. I destroyed the first one after about 5 years of hiking 2,000 miles a year. So I love these. I wear this over top of the fleece, and then I wear a vest on top of that. Like I said, check out my layering video for the full technique on this. This is the QU down vest. This is about 5 ounces. And instead of wearing 2 down jackets when it gets really cold or layering them, I'll wear this vest over the down jacket. And then I can just wear the vest if I need it, or just wear the down jacket if I need it. I actually maxed out this trip. I had all my layers on when I was sleeping at night, and I was just warm enough, and it touched 27 degrees, so it worked well for me. Next thing down here, this is the Enlightened equipment. I think this is the Enigma bag. It doesn't label. Let's see. Nope, it doesn't have it labeled. This is 850 power fill, 10 degree bag. So I sleep pretty cool because I'm like 7 to 9% body fat. So you're sleeping, you'll need to test on your own with a temperature gauge, and then how you sleep depending on your body fat, depending on your metabolism. I just sleep a little bit cold. So I bring a 10-degree bag. This, wearing all my layers to bed at night plus the 10-degree, I was really nice and toasty. Really early in the morning when I hit 27, I was right on the edge of starting to get cold, but I was completely fine. So I nailed my layering for this trip. So here's the trash compactor bag. Now you can see the inside, just completely blank. No pockets, no nothing. All waterproof, strong Dyneema material. I have 3 of these bags. I've destroyed 2 from hiking, lots and lots of miles, but I like all their different bags. I have a few different types depending on the kind of trip I'm gonna do. Last thing that goes in the very bottom of my pack is my food bag for the trip. So I have my daily food, and at night after dinner, I will repack all my food for the trip into my daily food bag. This is just a sil nylon sack. I don't use any odor control or anything like that. I sleep with my food right by my head. The last thing I have here is my hip belt. This is a Hyperlight Mountain Gear hip belt. Inside it, I like the back because it holds your phone. You don't have to zip or unzip anything. It's great for navigating or taking photos. Then it has this front pocket. I use that for trash. This Unbound also has a little pocket in the bottom that I can stuff snacks in, and it also has a little trash hole. You can stuff trash in there too. So I don't have to stop when I'm eating. I'm just eating snacks on the move a lot. Then the main compartment right here, I keep my inReach Mini, which is satellite communication, satellite SOS, and weather. The weather on this is fantastic. Highly recommend it. I count my GoPro for filming videos. I keep snacks in here, and then I'll keep some supplements. So the supplements I use, I have salt pills. These are 1,000 milligrams of sodium. Instead of electrolyte drinks, these are a lot easier to carry. They're a lot lighter. They're a lot cheaper. Next thing I have in there is caffeine pills. These are just 200 milligram caffeine pills. I usually just bite them in half and take 100 milligrams at a time, a few times a day. On the trail, quick boost of caffeine without having to make coffee is really nice, but I also make coffee on shorter trips when I'm not worried about the amount of weight that I have to carry. I'll just use instant coffee or straight caffeine pills on longer trips. And that's all I got in there. So that is my entire kit, everything I carried on this trip. And then on my feet, I wear trail runners. These are the Ultra Lone Peaks. I just will look when they're on sale on Amazon and buy like 10 pairs at a time because I hike so much. I usually go through 10 pairs of shoes a year, maybe 8 to 10 pairs. And then I like to wear these compression sleeves that are also just a sock. They keep your legs fresh during the day. And another tip you guys can use is when you stop during the day, lay on your back, put your pack down, and then just prop your legs up so your legs are above your heart, and it'll drain all your blood and it'll keep your feet a lot fresher. If you're near a cold stream during the day, taking a wash in the stream can just wake you up and revitalize you, especially if it's cold. The last thing I have on is my Sunto race watch. This is an expedition watch. I love this watch. They're kind of expensive, but they have maps on them, which is nice because you actually have access to maps. It's not ideal, but if I'm out route finding on a trip, doing off-trail navigation, I will load the trip route into this as well as have it on my phone, and then I can just do heads-up navigation. If my phone were to get compromised, I also have a backup map system, which is nice. It's not as good as Gaia GPS on my phone, but it's pretty good. It also tracks my mileage, elevation, every other stat you could ever think of, sleep, heart rate variability, all that kind of stuff. So you can see if you're getting fatigued, anything else that you might want to do, you can do with this watch. I like the Sunto watches a lot. So that is my entire gear setup for this trip. And then I have this tarp. This is the Z-Packs 10 by 8.5 tarp. Very versatile. I love it. It's going to work very well until the bugs start to come out. And then I'm going to switch to my other tent. I have 2 different tents. I have the Z-Packs Duplex, and then I have the Z-Packs Offset Duo. They're 2-man tents, but they only weigh 19 to 20 ounces. So they're very light, same company as this. And I have links to all this stuff in that guide and PDF. And then I also have these trekking poles. These are the Durston Iceline trekking poles. They're about 6 ounces for each pole. Very light poles, very light in your hands. I like them because they only have 1 adjustment, and they're very easy to adjust for my tarp because you don't have those 2 telescoping parts. So now that I got everything packed up, got my full camp set up. So this is only half the tarp. I basically just fold it over and stretch it across, and it gives for a really roomy view. because you can just sit in and you can look out and you can see everything. I can still fully sit up. But what I like about this system is that you can also fold it over, so it's more like a TP view. And then when I sleep, I just keep my gear and my food right by my head with my water. And then a lot of times I'll take my backpack and put it down here and I'll prop my feet up on it when I sleep, so I have slight foot elevation. Just makes your legs feel way better in the morning. But this is a fantastic camp. You guys were always looking the other way when I was filming that video. But you can see my view from inside is river and old growth forest. These massive trees. And then there's a fire pit over here. But I like the view from that spot the best. So I'm about to start collecting some firewood, get a fire ripping, have some dinner, and enjoy the night. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.